Four-time MVP quarterback, and while Rodgers is recovering from an Achilles, Saleh expects Rodgers to be a full go. Take a listen.
I mean, the guy can still sling it. Obviously, he's still working through his rehab, but no issues on the trajectory at which he's going. It's naturally managed because of the phase 1, phase 2 part of it, but once phase 3 hits, we're not anticipating any restrictions from what we can and can't do with him.
Now, Rodgers did practice last year and was going to come back, but we
interception, I think.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Scout team linebacker. That's crazy.
I don't know what phase.
That's crazy. If they were just a little better, he was going to play.
Yeah.
But he's not yet. He was going to play quarterback, though, if they were a little better. But now, 3 months later.
What phase are we in?
I don't know. He's not yet quite fully cleared. I get it.
But he could play in a game last year.
100%. He proved everyone wrong.
He did.
And
science in
and
general.
set records.
The Jets are going to go along with that.
Yeah.
They're not going to upset Aaron at all.
Brew, do you expect Rodgers to have a Pro Bowl caliber season?
Well, look, Pro Bowl, that's 3 quarterbacks from each conference.
Yeah.
The AFC, you got Mahomes, Lamar, C.J. Stroud, Josh Allen, and Joe Burrow. That's 5. All of them aren't making the Pro Bowl, maybe as alternates, I guess. Justin Herbert, and I didn't even mention Tua and Trevor Lawrence.
You didn't have to mention Trevor Lawrence.
So my point is, there will be quarterbacks in the AFC that have Pro Bowl caliber seasons who don't make the Pro Bowl. Okay, so that said, I think Aaron Rodgers can be one of them. All right, the weapons, I've told you guys, I think you've come to believe me now.
No,
they got really good weapons.
We never agreed on that.
Garrett Wilson's not a good weapon? Now we're assuming for the sake of conversation that they're healthy. If you just want to say they're not going to be healthy, then okay.
Can I ask a question? How about for the sake of conversation, we assume that football players have the average health that they've always had?
That's fair.
How about that? Is that fair?
No.
So for Mike Williams, So for Mike Williams, we're supposed to assume for the first time since we've worked together that he's going to play a full season. That's fair?
Yes.
That makes no sense. Now I understand why they're your
But let's
Clippers.
say he plays 12 games.
Okay, all right.
Let's say he plays 12 games.
Sure,
okay,
go ahead.
You got Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson. They got weapons. You got a defense that's top notch.
That's
all
right. That has nothing to do with
top-notch
Rodgers' Pro Bowl
defense.
caliber season.
No. The defense being top notch will help
wins.
Aaron Rodgers. It'll put him in good positions. You got weapons. I'm gonna be honest. If healthy, I'm expecting.
Did the defense help Patrick Mahomes win a Super Bowl? They did.
30-ish?
So why is he downplaying all of a sudden defense? Because he's saying, well, that doesn't impact how well you play. Of course it does. Of course it does. Because if it wasn't for the defense, for the Kansas City Chiefs, the Kansas City Chiefs would have had a worse record. And Patrick Mahomes would have not gotten his Pro Bowl. Which he honestly shouldn't have, regardless. Because if you look at his stats, he was not Pro Bowl worthy. I know, that's very shocking to hear.
30-ish.
Little 25 to 30-ish touchdowns from Aaron.
Okay.
Single-digit interceptions, his typical thing. 5, 6.
5 interceptions.
I mean, that's what he does. That's his claim to fame.
Well, last healthy year he had 12.
All right.
And the MVP
he
year he had
is
4.
more motivated than he has been since his second MVP season. You got to agree with me on that. And I think he's got one more, not MVP level, but one more very good season in him.
Yeah, I don't.
Just quickly, how many 300-yard games will he have this year?
He will. You want to place a bet? You're talking big and bad.
I'm just looking for one. He's
going to get one at least.
Okay, how many is he going to have?
He's going to get several. Several.
Okay.
Let me look at the schedule.
I'll set the over-under at 5.5.
Ooh, I'll take the under.
I'm going to take the under.
Oh, okay, all right. So you think he's going to have 4 or 5 is about what you're saying. Okay, I was just, not a real line. I just was trying to get someone pinned down. All right.
6.
Brew. What was the theme of one of the themes of last season on this show? We talked about the league holistically. We were like, what happened to that team? It's like, oh, they lost their coordinator. Oh, this coordinator's not good. Oh, this coaching staff struggled. Why are we not doing any of that math with the Jets? We have no evidence at any point that Nat Hackett's a good offensive coordinator. None.
Green Bay?
The Packers?
No. But Matt LaFleur is calling the plays. Matt LaFleur is running everything there.
He was technically the offensive coordinator.
Right. But by the way, if Matt LaFleur was going to come over and coach the Jets, I would be convinced that maybe that could work. But as far as this type of job, we haven't seen him succeed at it. And by the way, we have seen the Jets, however, lose Rodgers and Nat Hackett and be fine, right, offensively, without really missing a beat. And so I don't trust the offensive coaching staff. I also think that if 10 guys, I think that you're right, there's a lot of really good quarterbacks in the AFC. I think the question is, if we're saying you can have a Pro Bowl caliber season without actually making the Pro Bowl, which I understand your point, the question is, like, can Aaron Rodgers be one of the 6 best quarterbacks in the conference?
No.
One of this, I
could.
do not think he can.
I think he could.
He's going to be better than Justin Herbert? If you did your list, I think Herbert came in 6th.
Herbert is the guy, the 6th guy you mentioned.
To use Nick's point, are we looking at injury history? Because Joe Burrow, is he going to be healthy?
Oh. Do you think but Aaron Rodgers with an Achilles that he's
motivated this year.
Hold on, but that's
Rodgers hasn't typically had injury problems.
No, that's true.
Burrow,
but
now
can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Why do you say he's motivated this year?
Because he's all in. Like, and I'm being real. Like, when he went to the Jets, I was skeptical at first. And I mean, I'm not saying they're a Super Bowl contender like a lot of people, but he is so excited to be with the Jets. All right. He's working, doing the off-season workouts. We are seeing a commitment level from him that we didn't see his last year in Green Bay. Working with the receivers. So I just think he's clear.
I don't think anyone can challenge his motivation. He wants to come back. He was doing everything that he could do to come back last season. In his heart, he believed he could, even though he couldn't. So to question his motivation, I think is absurd. And if you're questioning Aaron's motivation at this point, then you're just being a hater of Aaron Rodgers, because he is obviously motivated. He does not want to just fizzle out. He wants to win. He wants to ball out. And the second best thing of coming back from an Achilles like that same season and saying, "See, I told you so," is coming back the next season and saying, "Yeah, that's right. I told you so. I came back. We're in the playoffs. We're the 2 seed." Making things up, not saying that they're necessarily going to be the 2 seed, the 2nd seed. And there you go. Aaron Rodgers wants to ball out. Aaron Rodgers, like all athletes, like anyone, they have an ego. They have pride. They want to win. They want to go out on top. Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to walk out on the field, not play that well, and just say, "Nah, my Achilles, man, I just don't have it anymore. It's, this is just not the way how I wrote it, how I thought it was going to end, but that's just the way it ended, and it just is what it is. I retire." That's not what he wants to do. That is not at all what he wants. He wants to ball out. He wants to play. So he's doing everything he can. He even structured his contract so that the Jets can make moves. The defense for the Jets is great. Great. They already won enough games last season with a terrible quarterback in Zach Wilson. The Jets are obviously going to be a better team, a significantly better team with Aaron Rodgers. Now, this whole idea about Nathaniel Hackett, I get it that you don't think that he's this unbelievable OC. That he's not, the Shane Steichens of the world, the Ben Johnsons of the world, the Shanahans, back when these guys were all just nothing but OCs. I get it. But here's the reality. Aaron Rodgers is that offensive savant. Just like we say LeBron James is an NBA savant, okay? And same thing with Tom Brady. Tom Brady went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. When he was took a more passive role in that organization, at least offensively, of course. He's still obviously the leader. They were not doing well. It was not until Tom brought the Patriot way, which I say that very loosely, that he brought, Tom's brought his own influence and his own flavor and his own ideology of what to do offensively. They instantly got better. They went on their run, and they, of course, won the Super Bowl. Okay? That matters. Tom Brady made that happen. And now we're saying, though, that Aaron Rodgers, we're just assuming he doesn't have that ability. How can we say on one side that Aaron Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks to ever play in the NFL, but yet then we don't expect him to be able to elevate the offense with even an OC as Nathaniel Hackett? I mean, this is what Aaron wanted. He wanted an OC that he could influence, essentially. That he could say, this is what I want, this is what I think we should do, this is what we need. And that's what Tom Brady wanted too in Tampa, after they definitely got rid of their head coach. Like, he wanted to be able to run the offense as he wanted to. So, listen, maybe it's a massive mistake by Aaron, right? Maybe he's not as good as he thinks because, most players do need coaches, right? That's just the reality. But to say that this is just a guaranteed disaster, that there's no evidence that Aaron Rodgers will be able to successfully elevate that offense, and that the Jets, with their consistent defensive play, means that they're not going to be good, or that they can't make moves, that Aaron can't have a great season. And I'm not going to get lost in the weeds and say, well, what's considered a Pro Bowl caliber season? I'm not going to get lost in that, because those are just unnecessary, categories. Like Pro Bowl series caliber season, but not Pro Bowl. MVP type season, not MVP type. Like, it doesn't matter to me. It really doesn't, because it's just like, do you play good? Do you win these games? Are you costing your team games? Well, if the Jets have such an unbelievable defense this coming season, and Aaron Rodgers just has to just not turn the ball over, and he only throws the ball 12 times a game, obviously using very extreme examples here, and that's good enough for them to win, well, then that's good enough for them to win. That's all he needed to do. That's just the way it is. So I'm not going to get lost in this of Aaron Rodgers needs to ball out and throw for 400 yards, this, that, and the third. I mean, how has that worked out for Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys? The answer, poorly. How has that worked out for Lamar Jackson and the Ravens? The answer, poorly. So Aaron does know how to win. He can play. I understand he hasn't had the same level of Super Bowl success as some of these other quarterbacks. I get that, and I do think Aaron is to blame for some of that. But also, the Jets only helped him out the Packers only helped him out so much over his career. And I don't really know many people that think that Mike McCarthy is just this unbelievable head coach here. So it's just, again, when we look at these greats, the Tom Brady's, the Patrick Mahomes, look at the common denominators. They're supported strongly by either having a great offense or a great defense, and they all have unbelievable coaches to support them. Aaron has not necessarily been given that. So, and not to say that he has that now with the Jets. So it's not like I'm predicting that the Jets are just going to guarantee to win a Super Bowl. But if we take and see what they did last season with Zach Wilson, to think that Aaron Rodgers isn't worth another 3, 4, 5 wins is insane to me. Absolutely, positively insane to me. So I really think that the Jets will be good. I think Aaron Rodgers will be good. And yes, outside of some, devastating cluster injuries, which is technically possible with the roster that they constructed, I truly believe that the Jets will be competitive, and I truly believe that they will make the playoffs and can, win playoff games as well. Quite honestly, I really, really do believe that. I think the last year Jets, if they had Aaron Rodgers, would have beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Would have, beat the Texans. Would beat the Eagles. I mean, a lot of people were beating the Eagles, so that's not that impressive. But I really do believe that. Their defense was legit. They were literally playing with no offense. No offense. If you have a healthy Aaron Rodgers, you're going to have an offense. Are you going to have the highest powered offense in the NFL? Probably not. Is it good enough to win games and potentially really win, playoff games? Yes. The Chiefs did not have a high-flying offense last season. Patrick Mahomes did not particularly have a great year at the quarterback position. Whether you're saying it's his fault or just the fact of lack of weapons and team, doesn't matter. They still were able to win a Super Bowl. When you had some of these other teams, like the Dallas Cowboys or the Miami Dolphins, having this ultra high-powered, larger-than-life offense, putting up points, historic numbers, how far did that get them? The answer, knocked out in the first round. That's what happened to them. So I think the Jets are actually in a great place, and I think Aaron Rodgers will make his recovery. He's going to ball out. He's going to do everything he can to put himself in a position to succeed. And this is where you have to just trust Aaron Rodgers as not only a football player, but a football mind. Those are just my thoughts, though. I would absolutely love to hear yours. Do you expect Aaron Rodgers to have a Pro Bowl caliber season? And do you think the Jets can actually, make some noise this season? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of, and I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.